broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Agent Carter fans! Welcome back to another AfterBuzz Agent Carter After Show. If you haven't done so already, please go on to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, where you can subscribe to this and all the AfterBuzz shows. Guys, we're doing over 99 shows a week, and you can find them all on our YouTube page, but you can also find them on iTunes and SoundCloud. Don't forget to leave a comment, a rating, give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, however you choose to comment and let us know how you feel about the show. It's all appreciated. You can also tweet at us using the hashtag ABTVAgentCarter throughout the show, and we'll be keeping an eye on it and throughout the week. Guys, I'm your host, Zach Wilson. We're excited to talk about tonight's episode. What was tonight's episode called?
The Iron Ceiling.
The Iron Ceiling. I forgot to write it down.
Which is a play on words for the glass ceiling and the iron curtain.
But she broke right through that iron ceiling.
And we will talk about that. You guys can tweet at me during the show at @ThatZachWilson. And you can also tweet at my fantastic panel, who I will introduce to you now. Right here to my left, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, I'm at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Steph Z is unfortunately out tonight, but filling in for her, the fantastic Steve Kaufmann.
As can be proven, I'm not Jesse Klein in a mask like I was last time. You can find me at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. It should be spelled correctly in there.
And Jesse Klein, the not needing a mask, Jesse Klein.
No, I never need a mask. Hi, I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me at JessKlein1. That's JESS, the KLEIN, and the number 1. And I apologize ahead of time. I got a persistent cough.
Oh, yeah.
So I might be doing that.
I'm already getting comments that the red fedora is gone. I'm wearing a white fedora because I felt like
Change it back. Change it back.
Look, I don't have the magic. Although I really wish I had thought ahead to the fact that this is a Russian episode and I'm not wearing red.
Yeah.
I mean, in your defense, you are kind of wearing white, blue. You are missing a little bit of red if you wanted to be patriotic. Or if you wanted to look like a Union Jack.
That's true.
Sure.
I could have missed opportunity.
Yep.
Russians love Linux.
That is why you need the red fedora back.
But I am wearing a fedora because it's the 40s, and because it's the 40s, we're going to war in Europe. More specifically, though, we're going to Russia. We opened up in Russia in 1937.
Yeah.
First reactions to that, to the whole Dottie's whole mini backstory here.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like that got dark. That got dark really quickly.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like almost the standard, the bad child, the rough boarding school. And nope, you snap the kid's neck.
Well, and they handcuff the students to their beds every single night to make sure nobody escapes. And then they make them go in hand-to-hand combat with their friends. Because we saw at the beginning of the episode that girl she handed...
bread.
Yeah, they were friends. I guess at least as far as you can be friends in that context.
Is it to make sure they don't escape or so that they don't kill each other... in the night?
It probably depends on the student.
It's probably a mix of both. I thought it was a great opener. I thought it was really kind of cinematic and kind of cool with the tied in with the Age of Ultron trailer that we saw. With the ballet class. I feel like it's a similar place. I think this is probably the Black Widow training area.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're all saying.
And we were talking about how, we've heard that the Black Widow is kind of like a title, like James Bond or anything like that. So, it would be interesting to see if, Dottie might be Black Widow.
It fits. it was not an accident that the fight choreography last
the
week
exact
was
same.
such a Black Widow move.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Marvel is way too careful with their stuff to do that by accident.
Yeah, it feels like they're really setting up for this like Iron Curtain thing. I think like we're gonna get maybe some Winter Soldier kind of teasers going on. Like if they keep up this tension between Russia and the United States, I think we might see like maybe a hint at Bucky or something like that.
Well, in the timeline of the show, we've got the Cold War just around the corner.
Yeah.
So that would make complete and total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it fits like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe mythology, the Winter Soldier is less like Russian creation as it is Hydra,
Yeah.
right? Like that was because the Hydra had control over him
Yeah, that's
in
right,
the Winter
yeah.
Soldier in the
Yeah,
movie.
I'm mixing it up with the comics. Yeah.
But in,
Yeah, 'cause-
in the comics, though, actually Bucky and Natasha have a past together.
For
so
sure.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the timeline.
Yeah, you're right.
And they do in the movie have like a little they don't know each other, but she's aware of him thing. But
yeah, because she's heard of him.
regardless, like the possibilities of Winter Soldier showing up are there.
Yeah.
Could anybody make out the little symbol on their shirt? It looked like a little red and black symbol.
Yeah.
Like just like stamped right in the middle, and it's like, oh, Black Widow. But
was it two red triangle? I don't know. I didn't see it. But if it was two red triangles,
Yeah, that's the
that is a Black Widow.
Widow
yeah,
symbol,
that's what I
yeah.
thought it was. But even watching it on like a big screen, it was
Yeah.
it was so tiny
Yeah, it was really tiny.
that you
So
can't
how
see
many
it.
graduates do you think there are from this academy? Is it like there is only one graduate and that is Dottie? and
my
so
God, I think-
whoever graduates gets to be the Black Widow?
I think that might be it. I think it's like you become friends with all these girls, you train with them, they become the only people you know in the world, and then you have to kill them off. And
the
then-
one person that can survive that is the person that's
Yeah.
right for this mission.
And I mean,
which
we've-
is super dark.
We've always hinted at Black Widow's backstory. Being super dark, like something horrifying that she doesn't want to get out. It's out there. Whatever it is out there now, technically,
Yeah.
after the events of the Winter Soldier. But we haven't. It hasn't been revealed to us. That'd be if it got out that like how she became who she was is by murdering like 50 other young girls.
Yeah.
So does that? I mean,
Is that a superpower? If you can murder 50
No, but that
tiny
would
children?
certainly make your ledger dripping with red.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's how Katniss Everdeen got famous, you guys.
That's true.
There's a lot of parallels, actually. Ronaldo Sanchez says Dottie has been stated to be part of the Black Widow project by the directors.
That is true.
So is that
Yeah.
is that confirmed? All right.
It is confirmed, but the question is just how she fits in. They haven't confirmed that she is a Black Widow,
Yeah.
but she
She's
may
a part of the project.
go on to like. I could totally see also like the alternate thing is that Dottie ends up training Natasha down the line.
And with Yelena Belanova, that's kind of at least in the 616, that's a confirmation that Black Widow is a title.
Yeah.
Because there were two Black Widows running around for a while.
But now with the bomb drop of Secret Wars coming up, using 616 as a guide is even rougher than it was. But we won't get started on that.
Oh, no,
That
let's
could-
get into Secret Wars.
No,
Let's get deep.
but so we flash forward to Dottie post child murder in the 40s.
Yeah.
And now she's I guess her and Peggy have like started hanging out.
Yeah, I guess they're boarding school buddies. They're at the cafe and talking about what to see in New York.
Angie had too much ennui.
Yeah. You know what? You know what my suggestion for Dottie is? I've heard the pizza in New York's pretty good. Why don't you head on down to a pizza shop? Use your hands, fold it, put a napkin in the back so the grease goes into that. You're welcome, Dottie.
No, you gotta stack the paper plates, man. You fold you fold it over so you can eat while you walk.
Well,
Have
I'm
we not
saying-
had dinner? Is that because right now this sounds
that's
really
what I'm
delicious.
I'm just giving spy techniques to Dottie. That's
like the folding the pizzas all makes a good hiding place for
Yeah.
keys that you might
For keys.
steal
for a gun.
for a revolver automatic pistol.
Yeah, sure. Gatling pistol.
I have mixed feelings about just this tiny little moment when, you know, she's offering Peggy half of the baguette and she's like, I can never finish mine.
Well, yeah.
And we see at the end of the episode that she still carries all of her past with her.
Yeah.
So I can't help but wonder, like, is that an unconscious thing, or does she feel guilty if she eats a whole baguette?
Well, I think she shared a baguette with the girl that she then killed.
Yeah.
Like, so I think...
So it's like, Peggy's gonna die, so here, have some food.
Yeah, I think it's a ritual.
I think it's a ritual, yeah, like, or a symbol for her.
Yeah.
Which was really dark.
It reminds me of anybody's read Ender's Shadow.
Yeah,
they do almost the same thing with the giving of the bread.
Yeah.
It's sort of the reverse, like the people that don't get bread
Are the ones who
are marked for death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like especially food is a way that stories often use to mark somebody's, especially the pattern.
Yeah.
That what they're gonna do again. But so they stole her. She stole her keys.
Mm-hmm.
Was anybody at that moment a little bit like, "Come on, Peggy"?
Yeah, Peggy.
I was a little bit frustrated by that because she's so on top of it all the time, especially in this episode. She really owns it. But I guess with the girls that she lives with, she doesn't see the need to have her guard up, and I guess that's her biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean that's a flaw. Putting trust in the wrong place.
I would assume that just as an agent in general, and this goes for all the SSR agents, is that you would always have your guard up and never really trust anyone. But again, it's the people that she lives with.
Part of her being at the Griffith was that she wanted to just trust a bunch of nice ladies.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with Angie, was that she was treating Angie like someone she couldn't put full trust in, and then she overcame that, and now she's going to have to backslide a little.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing that bothered me the most is this entire episode was basically like showing us how competent Peggy is. Like when she's in the theater of war, like that's her home front. And you'd think from that day when they were talking in the diner, between that and her going overseas, she would have at least checked her purse once to see if she had her keys.
Yeah, they never dealt with that.
And I know I have to suspend my disbelief because it's a show and the show has to move forward and we can't have 20 minutes of Peggy searching for just like her retaking her steps.
That's going to be
coincidentally is something I have to do every day.
Yeah, sure.
That's going to be the web content.
Yeah.
On the ABC mobile app, it's just
watching Peggy like search for her
in
keys.
The extended cut of this episode. They had to leave on the editing floor 15 to 20 minutes of key searching.
Idea, where are my keys?
Of her just asking strangers, like, did you see any keys?
Although she was smart enough to leave a towel, though, that way she could tell if somebody had come into her quarters.
Yeah, it was about as useful as it was in 1984.
I would like to think that she has a secondary way of being able to tell, because that one was really obvious to any. Because literally, you walk in the door, you notice the string dropping.
On the ground,
like you would have to be blind not to notice that. So I would hope that she has a second tell.
Yeah, I mean, I want to think that Peggy's, if she doesn't have something else installed, is enough of a like OCD super spy to know like these clothes are not where
my poison lipstick is gone.
Someone's been through my small clothes.
Yeah, Dottie took the lipstick, right?
She smelled it, and then we didn't see if she took it.
It was hard to tell if she put it back or took it with her.
But she did take a photo. She took one of the photos that she flipped through. I believe the one that had like the Howard Stark.
It was just
the crate.
The crate on it. And Dottie had that weird, creepy moment where she was like, "Hello, I'm Peggy Carter." And
it sounded just like that.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah. Right into the mirror. And it was like, oh, she wants to wear her skin.
I mean...
so gross.
And then was like looking at the picture of. And I like that Peggy has the picture of emaciated Steve and not like buff Steve. Instead, it's like when he was tiny.
It's from the folder that she. It's from the folder where he was marked deceased, where she took it.
Yeah. I like that she has tiny Captain America and not actual Captain America. It's like, oh, she likes the guy, not him for all of his muscles.
I know, but you can like the guy and the muscles.
So many muscles.
You can be respectful and still be like, ooh.
Put butter on those abs for me, Captain America.
And I'm gonna have more on this thought process later on. You'll understand when I come back to it.
Okay, go back. But yeah, Daddy creep.
Super creepy.
Was anyone thinking that she was like planning to impersonate Peggy moving forward? That's what that was?
She definitely, like, if she threw on a wig and if she is trying out the British accent, she could very well be planning on impersonating her at some point and then maybe setting her up for whatever Peggy gets in trouble for in the next episode.
Yeah.
I interpreted it more as like, I want to take you into my bedroom and then boil you into a stew. Oh, wow. So I can drink your essence, Peggy Carter. I'm obsessed because I grew up in an orphanage where I was forced to kill my best friends. That's what I inferred from what they were implying.
I figured she's just going to impersonate like a wig.
Well, if you guys want to be boring, that's fine.
It could be just a brief moment of wish fulfillment because they're very similar.
Yeah.
But Peggy has clearly a much happier situation, or at least a less emotionally devastating childhood backstory. Presumably, I don't think Peggy Carter had to deal with anything that traumatic in her childhood.
No, I don't think the British trained their forces by having them child murder each other.
No, that's not really the British way.
No.
But she did get good training in Britain.
Yes.
As we get into our Howling Commandos and what I've just deemed Peggy the Soldier plot line.
I called it Action Peggy.
Action Peggy. Yes, that's way better.
Which is funny. We have a comment on Twitter that says from Jillian Davila. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but honestly, a lot of people would watch Haley Atwell just searching for keys.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it on my TV, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
But what I show the first thing that we get in this is we left off last week with the typewriter coming through with a message, which says one of two things: either they don't know that the typewriter has been compromised, or the only way that they can communicate to them is to like basically send a reply all.
Or they do know that the typewriter's been compromised and they're setting the SSR as a trap.
That it kind of seemed like that one.
Not to mention the typewriter was in English.
No, it was in Russian, and that was one of the reasons why they were having trouble.
But when we saw the typewriter, like
it was not. It was not in the. I forget the name of the Russian letter form, but it was.
It was in Latin.
Okay. I don't remember. I don't know if I'm remembering it with subtitles or not.
No, the typewriter is in English because it has to be unnoticeable. But the code.
You'd be a bad spy. A Russian typewriter with a big antenna. No, nothing wrong here. More accents to come, folks.
The code translates via. It translates into Russian.
Yes.
So you have to know how to read it in Russian, which is how Peggy comes in and is able to break this code that the professional like SSR code breaker is just failing at miserably.
But I love how the SSR is so unsubtle that they're like, "Why don't you just hit it? Why don't you just hit the code?" And he's like, "It's a very you have to break it through a lot of things."
Have you seen The Imitation Game?
It
covers this.
Well, they specifically made reference to Turing and all of Bletchley because basically they inferred that Peggy was at Bletchley. Which the Imitation Game, if you've seen it, very small group, real life, there's like 6,000 to 9,000 people working at Bletchley on the breaking those codes. So she very well could, it fits that she would have spent time there. She's British.
She's just hanging out with Dr. Strange.
She's very intelligent.
Just hanging out with the doc.
Dr. Strange is over there building the first computer.
By the eye of Amagato, what does this say?
But she uses a very similar tactic, and she's like, it's Russian, and she figures out what it means. It's longitude and latitude, and that's the basics. And then she very, very quickly, like way faster than any computer can do it, breaks this code. I'll let it slide just that we needed television to move quickly.
Yeah, we do.
And it says that there's the sale of a Stark weapon called the Havoc Reactor.
Yeah.
Which, great name for a rock band. Also a great name for a doomsday weapon.
Could it also be... I know this is a Tony Stark thing, but could it somehow be a precursor to the arc reactor?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But it doesn't create power, it just havoc.
It's just no arc, all havoc.
All havoc all the time.
It's got an X-Man in it. it's just reacting to things.
Oh my god.
If only.
But they're and then it says like the sale goes directly to Stark.
Which trap.
Yeah,
It's a trap.
Yeah, it's just shouting trap, and it also plays completely inconsistent to what the Doctor says, and like what fits with the story of the Doctor and the scientist being there.
Yeah.
Because what they say once they get there is that they have Stark blueprints. Why would they have like trapped this engineer there if they needed Stark?
If Stark could just make it.
Totally makes sense.
That's logical.
How many scientists do you guys think have been kidnapped to try to build stuff, because of the Starks, essentially?
How many scientists have been killed because they couldn't do what Howard Stark can do?
Yeah.
Howard
Probably a
Stark
lot.
and Tony Stark both combined.
Yeah, I mean, similar
Stack
storyline.
of
I see, yeah.
They've got their red ledger themselves. Just people who aren't as smart as them.
But other people hoped they were.
Yeah.
This guy needed a whole full-time therapist to keep him working, and the therapist had to be literally jailed in with him.
Well, he could see, he had a really interesting power, which was see into other dimensions or see all the dimensions.
Well, that was how it was described.
Yeah.
I don't think that was meant to be taken literally.
Because at first it's is that an Inhuman thing?
Or is this like a Thor Asgardian reference about dimensions?
But it was more
mental health.
He could see the molecules that made up grass.
Kind of a beautiful mind situation.
Yeah, it's he understands the universe, not he has a power.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say after he got shot that we're not going to get any big revelations about that guy.
Well, I really want to know what he saw in a bullet. Shot by his best friend.
The atomic makeup of lead and
Lots and lots of blood.
but
So much blood.
But Peggy's whole storyline, I love this episode gave us what we wanted from not that I have disliked what we've had to this point with Agent Carter, but when I heard Agent Carter storyline, Peggy Carter from Captain America, the First Avenger, is going to have her own show, I immediately jumped to, okay, so World War II or post-World War II Europe, dealing with Battlefront, the Howling Commandos are there because they're still in that timeline.
Just her taking corridors with a grease gun, just going through. And the thing I'm really pleased. We were talking about this before. The thing I'm really pleased about this show is that it could have very easily been a Freak a Week show, where every week it was just we dealt with a different big baby. And it was just Peggy dealing with a different big baby every single week, and there would always be a counter agent that she had to work with, and then funny banter between her and Jarvis, and then it would be and everything resets at the end.
Yeah, and we do this 20 times a year until you're sick of it.
But I love that they're we don't have a lot of time to get this out, so like it started off, it was a great way to start the series off, but it's really progressing really pleasingly as far as a narrative.
And also, you just don't need to do that. Like, that's a fun, like, that's like a, I guess if you're like pitching a show, you're like, and they'll be hunting down these bad babies for 8 episodes, and they'll find 8 different really bad things, and then you're like, you're like, we're not going to do that for 8 episodes.
It's a good stepping stone, and that's exactly what the show used it as. Stepping stone.
And
a lot of shows do. I mean, that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was until...
Yeah, well, that was a whole, like, they were, like, forced to do that when they didn't want to. And that's what I think they were sort of playing with. They saw that dynamic of, like, well, we can sort of make people believe it's going there, and then really quickly we'll surprise them and be like, no, it's actually... a whole other thing. There's way more to it. It's much more of a spy show. You're going to get war zone stuff. All that stuff. And the other big thing that the show is dealing with is how the people in the 40s treated women, treated Peggy Carter. And in this case, as she says, there is no better person to go on this mission than her.
But it takes her saying, okay, she was like, I'm the only one who can speak Russian and translate this. It's like, no, thank you. It's like, I know the terrain better than anyone. I've been there before. No, thank you. I can get the Howling Commandos to go. Like, okay, you can go.
Only if.
It was a that'll be the day, but sure.
But again, it's just underestimating this woman. They're like, go get Dum Dum Dugan.
And she's even more motivated because at the beginning of the episode, Jarvis is trying to have a word with her and, is still trying to say that no one on her SSR team will ever take her seriously. And that's when she's like, watch me. I will make them respect me.
I do like that bookend here that at the very least it was just she left with all of them, that it's just in one mission she had them accept her as an agent.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is clear a room of enemy soldiers. Tell Dum Dum Dugan to get out of there and like cover his 6. Like that'll get respect.
I mean, that's the thing, and it's the like unfortunate like way that she had to go about it is like
murder.
Well, I wasn't gonna say. I meant what? Yes, but what I was leaning towards was that she needed another man to basically vouch for her. Suddenly get like Thompson suddenly like, wait, Dum Dum Dugan wants like
her opinion.
Like he's like he'd rather see, like when he gives his plan, they're like, Peggy, what do you think? Before saying yes.
I thought there was a really great moment with Dum Dum and Peggy in the car when she gives him the bourbon, but there was so much not said in that moment. Like, it feels like since Cap has died, there's not been a lot of communication between Peggy and the Commandos, and it seemed like that moment there was a lot of them not saying anything and just kind of accepting that they both miss Cap quite a bit. And I thought it was really well acted. A really good moment in this, where the acting isn't terrible, but that was a standout scene.
There were a lot of moments in this episode where very little dialogue was used to propel the story, particularly at the very beginning with Dottie's backstory. Like almost no dialogue there. So
I mean, that scene felt really powerful because it's a through line of the show, the loss of Captain America for Peggy, but something that I like that they haven't leaned on too much. Like we got the big lean yet last week with the blood, because look, it's
his blood.
But I mean, look, it is Peggy Carter. It is a character that is a spin-off from Captain America. Like it was in the books, it was now to the TV show. So you have to deal with it.
Yeah, and there's so many ways they could have handled this poorly, where she's like, her character is basically based off of whatever she thinks Cap would do, or she would remind people like, I served with Captain, and like be really sad all the time. But they handle it really well, where it's like that is a part of her character, but that's not what defines her character, which I think is like a really great way of handling it. She's strong not because she served with Captain America, but because she's strong.
Yeah, and they did that when we first meet her in the first Captain America movie, where Captain America, like Steve Rogers, is just a little kid on a base, and she's the only woman, and she's like second or third in command of the entire base.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this woman must be serious. She's running the whole base for a secret operation.
Yeah, I mean, Peggy Carter is a strong person, and that's what's so shocking for her is that because in wartime, it doesn't matter where we're getting this from. We need to get the job done, and this is getting the job done.
Yeah, and anybody who did second guess her in war, she could immediately show her chops, either by beating them up in training camp or by proving herself in battle, which she clearly did time and time again.
Yeah, and like what I loved, I was talking a little bit about before, just that we got that Peggy Carter from the movie who like ran out into the middle of the street with her gun and just raised the pistol, took out the tire in like a single shot.
Yeah.
Because that's what she's capable of. That's Peggy Carter.
We also got canon confirmation that Yetis exist in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
I like that that's what you're taking out of this episode.
That's a huge deal.
I'm looking at his notes. That's all he wrote.
I just wrote Yeti.
Yeti.
Did you write down any theories about what the Yeti may have been?
Well, I'm thinking maybe it was a member of, why can't I remember the name of the Canadian team with the Puck and Wolverine and North Star, like all of those like Canadian members.
The Canadian Avengers thing.
What were they called? The thread is going to, everyone on the internet is yelling the name of it right now.
Even on the internet, I don't think that there's a lot of love for the
they
Canadian.
love the Canadian team. Steve, you've got the internet. Why won't you look it up for me? Just look up the Puck. Look up the Puck. He's the best character in the Marvel world. No, Puck like a hockey puck.
That's not how you spell Puck.
Anyway, yeah. Regardless,
I think he was a member of the Canadian team.
Well, here's the thing: is they mentioned the Yeti, and we're also dealing with the mystery of a potential monster that killed all these people at Finnow.
Yeah.
Do you think that whatever this Yeti is,
mass Yeti conspiracy? Well, I mean, I think that scene, Alpha Flight. The thing that was great about that scene, at least, was Peggy was. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Joel Berkeley Lewis, for helping us out.
The thing that was great about that scene was it was great characterization for Thompson. Where we were seeing Peggy being a part of the crew, she's being treated as an equal, and Thompson for the first time is on the outside because that's the position he's in back at the office, and Peggy does what she's been hoping Thompson would do the entire time, which is like extends a branch to him. It was like, yeah, tell your story, and finally brings him in. That to a darker story. We hear he shot a bunch of deserters.
And we'll talk about the story in a second. But to your point about her reaching out, that's like a great moment because she could easily have shoved it in his face.
Yeah.
Iced him.
And it was really nice to see because it's like, come on, Thompson, because you want them to be on the same page. You want to see them work well together.
They're both effective agents. Together, they'd be amazing.
Yeah. And that's I wonder if it's where we're going. I mean, so Thompson opened up in this episode.
Yeah. Like
to a huge
I would say a little too much.
Well, and the chief towards the beginning of the episode offhandedly remarked like that Thompson had a crush on Peggy, and I don't know if that was just meant as kind of like a joke.
I think that was just like come on, like stop being soft on the girl, or like stop giving her a hard time because stop pulling her pigtails.
I hope that's the case.
Because I think I had the same reaction as you, Megan, where I'm like, wait, what? What have I been missing here? Like, is this a plot line that we should have been thinking about?
It's because you're part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel now. You become ship happy like the rest of us.
Well, no, but like that's the thing is like you're right. I will ship characters willingly, but I never would have shipped those two people.
No, I'm rooting for Sousa.
I think it was just like using like a colloquialism or like just like stop pulling on her pigtails, like that kind of thing.
Okay,
like,
yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, or maybe they're making out all the time.
Although by the end of the episode,
they're very close.
Very close.
They have gotten very close. He's opened up. We've learned a little bit about why he's such a hard person.
Yeah, because he's been given an award for bravery for killing a bunch of Japanese wannabe POWs, but instead corpses, who were trying to surrender during the war in Okinawa.
And it was an accident.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't realize the situation until they were all dead.
But then he buried the flag.
Yeah, then he buried the evidence.
I guess that's the difference of, it's not like they're going to like shoot you for like killing invading soldiers, regardless of whether they had a flag or not.
Yeah, he would have been chewed out, but
because he lied, he was
he
was respected as a hero.
he won the Navy Star.
And maybe that's one of the reasons why when he came home, he didn't want a hug.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Not everybody comes home wanting a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to be punished. Like, there's a part of him that wants to be reprimanded, I think.
What happened to the hat?
It got really hard to keep putting on.
We're just gonna put that right there.
Joel Berkeley Lewis in the chat roll says, no shipping Carter and Thompson.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you. I think we should
And before this
that.
episode, I think shipping Carter and Sousa would have been the more obvious choice.
I mean, that's what I'm going with right now.
This episode.
It's still. I would say it's still the obvious choice, but we will get to Sousa. There's still lots to talk about with Peggy in Russia. No ships. It can't. But Peggy and Thompson can't wind up together because Thompson was not saved by Captain America.
Yeah,
he had his own thing going on.
Actually, Ryan Whittleston and he was in the Pacific, not in.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
but he froze up. That was all sorts of terrible.
He's not like the big war hero he seems like he is. I'm sure he was a good soldier, but like, man, that's scary. I've never been shot at, but it seems like my first reaction, I think, would be either to run or freeze up, depending fight or flight.
Probably freeze up.
Yeah.
And
flight or freeze.
And he does freeze up, but before that happens, the whole team is in there. But like,
gets owned.
We skipped over for a moment. Like, I want to go back and talk about the little girl that they find in this facility.
Just stabs
She
some dumb
shoot him.
and then kills one of the commandos.
Was that Junior?
Yeah, the Juniper. Juniper.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
I love the Howling Commandos names. Just a quick aside.
Junior Juniper.
Dino Manelli, Pinky Pinkerton, Happy Sam Sawyer. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Everybody needs a nickname.
But Juniper gets shot and dead because of a result of a bullet inside of him.
Yeah.
That happened a lot in this episode.
Yeah, which, if we remember correctly, in the Smithsonian in Captain America 2, they say Bucky is the only Howling Commando to give his life in service to his country.
That is true. So,
meaning this mission was off the books as it pertains to the Smithsonian.
Okay, so we're digging some some huge deep nerd holes here, but you're right. That is said in The Winter Soldier in the Smithsonian. It does say that no Howling Commandos. I have to assume that what that means is that because this is an SSR mission, it is completely wiped from the records. That this is super dark secret. I mean, this is the prelim to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
The SSR is leading up to S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. at this up until that point, no secrets are out.
You also don't want to turn a Cold War into a hot war.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'd kick Juniper off the Howling Commandos and like this was the last mission, and then they were gonna let him know.
Or maybe they were just talking about in the context of World War II.
That was my interpretation.
Well, but they say in service to his country, so like it would still fit.
Public.
I think we can just
Ellipses
assume
in World War II.
basically mainly because of Jesse, what you were just saying, that it's the Cold War. You can't acknowledge that. You can't acknowledge that the U.S. has invaded Russian soil.
Yeah.
You can't acknowledge that even today. That would be risky to acknowledge.
That would be real risque. Also, so they find this creepy American school in the middle of Russia,
with subliminal messages, in little film reels.
You have a personal connection to this, Jesse.
You guys have to look up on YouTube when you're done here the Dover Boys of PU. That's the cartoon that they're playing on there. It is one of my favorite cartoons. You just have to go watch it.
What's it called?
It's the Dover Boys PU. Yeah, it's that one.
That one?
1942 is when it came out. So the timing works out fine.
Yeah, but the timing doesn't work out for, and people are asking in the chat roll, and I think a lot of people are probably asking this. Disney Fan 2001 asks, do you think that the girl was Natasha? I think we can pretty conclusively say that it's not.
Natasha Romanoff was born November 22nd, 1983.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Marvel...
I do the research, guys.
in the comic books, they bend time.
They bend
Obviously, like,
a lot.
Magneto is still Magneto with the World War II backstory in the comic books. Like, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But in the cinematic universe, to this point, they have not done any time bending.
No.
Everything fits, including World War II, into the established timeline of the Marvel universe.
Yes.
So
You can be frozen in time.
yes, but that still works.
It still works out.
Because there's a reason you frozen time.
It's not like in the books where Tony Stark is 30 years old in 1950 and he's also 35 years old in 2014.
And it's all canon.
Yeah.
It's like The Simpsons negative continuity.
It's. I mean, you have popular characters and you don't want to change them, and like Marvel keeps on doing like rewrites and re-ups where it's like, okay, like, and they're back to teenagers all of a sudden, where it's just you have to do that for a comic book because it's different than the cinematic universe.
Yeah,
The
it's just
cinematic
release
universe,
schedules are different.
until Robert Downey Jr. gets old, and then it'll be like, oh, look at this Iron Man.
Hey, look, it's Bobby Stark.
And then Robert Pattinson comes out, and we're like, oh, God.
And then the internet just goes, all hope is lost.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to our story. The little girl.
Yeah.
But so is she the like current like Black Widow in training then? We don't see any other little girls there. So this
I wonder if she killed everyone.
Like that's what I mean. Like if we go with our theory that like Dottie became the Black Widow by killing every other little girl there, this girl is the winner.
Yeah.
Ugh, she won the Hunger Games.
She does seem to be working against Leviathan though, because she shoots at the soldiers that are firing at them at one point.
Oh, was she?
Did she? I didn't see her after she ducked into that little den.
No, she comes down and has a rifle. I thought she was shooting at our protagonists. Not.
I think she was shooting at everybody.
Oh.
I'll have to go back and rewatch
Please clarify that for
if you
us,
guys
viewers.
get a chance to go back and rewatch it, let us know. Tweet at us, whatever. Because I can't remember. I thought I saw her shoot hit the leg of one of the members of Leviathan. I could be wrong.
Oh, I thought she hit the leg of the Howling Commando.
Yeah,
it's very possible that it was a very quick scene. It was a very fun scene.
Yeah, and we were writing notes.
Yeah, it's very easy for us to miss stuff. We got a tweet from Rihanna Dogs on Twitter. Dottie is cray-cray, but being forced to kill your friends and watch Snow White with subliminal messaging can do that to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it said fear.
That's my childhood.
They put fear over them.
Instill fear.
Look, I quoted movies as I watched them as a kid too.
Yeah.
So God only knows what subliminal messages Space Jam put into my head.
So many.
That Sean Bradley was a good NBA player.
But so overall, the end, like once we're at the end of this whole war plot line, I just loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean,
everything was good about it.
It was awesome seeing her like clear that room that they were having trouble with. I was like, why didn't you do that earlier? Because it's a TV show, that's why. But it was still awesome.
And this was the moment while we were watching that I just exclaimed, that was so hot.
Yeah.
About Peggy Carter. And this is where I'm bringing back what I said I was going to bring up earlier.
Great, bring it back.
And the thing is, what is great about this show and the message that it's sending is that I exclaimed that not just because Haley Atwell is a very attractive woman, and she is. She's very attractive.
But because you find dying people very sexy. You like it when someone who's very attractive then kills a bunch of people.
All right, I need to get this out because otherwise it's going to sound nuts.
No, that's canon with our podcast.
But the fact that it wasn't just about an attractive woman like being an action hero. It was an attractive woman who took charge of an entire situation, saved a bunch of lives, but not just through like luck or like she's a good shot. Like she did all of her skills as a spy, as just a good person, as a good like tactician, all added up to her just being a total badass.
It was great.
And that does it for me.
You know who else is a total badass? Dottie. So would you also say that she is hot?
You know, the handcuffs and the bed thing.
It's almost time for 50 Shades of Grey, folks. Coming out this Valentine's Day.
50 Shades of Marvel.
But did the kids at the beginning of the episode were they handcuffed to both like were there
No,
two?
it was just
okay,
one.
it was
Just
one.
one.
Oh, I was about to say you graduate to be an adult and you just handcuff one hand to
Well,
the
how
bed.
are you going to handcuff your other hand if you've already handcuffed one?
You're right.
It's just logistically.
That's
fair.
You need a safety
Although,
partner.
granted, that would give them a lot of like skills in terms of getting out of handcuffs. They would have to learn how to individually get out of
But then
each
that would
handcuff
defeat
without
the-
keys.
That would defeat whatever purpose they're serving by handcuffing the kids to the bed. We're getting kind of deep here, guys.
Anyway,
All right, well, before we're running low on time, I want to talk about Sousa because what?
oh man,
The most competent man at the SS.
Yeah, I mean, as much as Chief Dooley is like doing a good job, like trying to track down what's going on, he's doing everything that he can, like following down every lead.
And he's looking for like the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Where Sousa's like, but there was a person at that place. We should just find out who that person is.
there was something we never got an answer to.
Well, just like Sousa went after the homeless guy because he knew like that little thing could break everything open.
Yeah.
Like don't ignore the little thing because the little thing is how you find the slip.
Yeah.
And it was from that guy that he found out that there was a woman with dark hair involved in this situation.
Speaking of a slip, we saw Peggy Carter and one in the locker room.
Boom! Well done.
Brought it to it.
Yeah, just drop your mic, walk away.
Yeah, sure.
No, but ultimately he sees her bullet wounds.
Yeah.
Which he then finds in the file, and I learned something that Peggy can be somehow short for Margaret.
Well, because
From that file.
It's Margaret, then Maggie, then Peggy, because the British are weird.
We learned something today.
That's
the more you know.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong
Perry.
network.
Katy Perry.
Either it's bullet wounds or a back vampire bite.
Didn't they establish that it's bullet
They were
wounds?
bullet
though?
wounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it says.
They
on
do
the
look
file.
a little like vampire bites,
So,
though.
Vampire.
Let's talk about what Sousa might be doing going forward as we move into predictions. And then stay tuned because there's some news and gossip
News
coming
and
up
gossip.
afterwards.
News and gossip.
So, Sousa now he's put it together. Like Peggy's going out for drinks now. She's accepted by the guys, and Sousa is like, no, I haven't been sleeping for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I just found out the lady that I got a crush on and who I have a huge amount of respect for at work appears to be a double agent.
Yeah.
And I might have to bring her down, which is totally going to hurt my chances of getting her out on a date.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least he knows where he'll be or she'll be. Yeah.
And how sucky is this too? That it's just at the moment that like
Everyone's trusting
that
her.
they're accepting her not just as like a member of their team, but as kind of like an equal.
Yeah.
And
It looks like the next episode is going to be a lot of spy versus spy stuff.
yeah.
Where we see Dottie with a sniper rifle, and a thing that says "Kill Peggy Carter." We see the agents chasing after her. We see Sousa confront her in an alley with a pistol.
yeah.
See, this is like where the show gets good. This is like what took Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 16 episodes to get to because they were hung up with the waiting for Captain America thing.
Sure.
This show can just go into like it's you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost the same formula. It's okay. We have a week by week thing that we have to deal with, like hunting down little problems, and then we go on a big mission for 1 week with with like some characters from Captain America, the First Avenger, and. Then all of a sudden we come back and the game changes because Peggy is no longer working at the SSR. She can't be undercover there because she's not going to be working there anymore. They're going to be hunting her.
Yeah, and so now it's her clearing her name and also solving everything. And I think the chief, because when the chief was like on the hunt, he was saying like, look, there are multiple versions of the truth. There's what I think the truth is. There's what Stark thinks the truth is. There's what the actual truth is. And like he was like, at this point he was like, I don't even want to bring Stark in. I just want to know what his version of the truth is. And he's trying to piece it together because there's a bunch of Russians that got torn apart and no one is taking claim for it.
By a possible Yeti.
By probable Yeti army.
He knows that something's up. And he doesn't know that. He knows that Howard Stark is involved, and he doesn't know how.
Yeah.
But knows that Howard Stark is on the run.
I like that he has the sense to be like, this is bigger than anything that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I really like how he's handling this. I think even he's on the verge of, I don't think Stark did this.
Yeah.
And I just want to know the truth. And like he's just this mid-level, I'd rather figure out the truth kind of person. Also, I think we're going to see the Winter Soldier. We have 3 more episodes left.
And you think we get some Winter Soldier action?
We have to get the Winter Soldier.
I could see a mention. I would love it if he showed up. Him showing up and being the monster that killed all those people.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
That works. That fits.
I wonder what the timeline
Oh, no,
is.
wait.
That timeline seems off.
No. Yeah, you're right. That does not fit.
Also, I wonder at this point in time if he is the Winter Soldier yet,
or if they're still
he's-
working
That's
on
why
it.
I don't think it
If he's
fits.
still like being reprogrammed and getting a sweet metal arm
Yeah, I think he's still
with a star on it because he likes stars.
My theory would be the sweet metal arm came after he lost his arm in a mission.
I think he probably
No, I
lost it when
think
he
he lost
fell
it.
off
Cliff.
200
Cliff.
feet down a
Okay.
cliff. But anyway, before we wrap up, guys, I want to take a moment and move into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Because, guys, I don't know if you all caught it. You didn't if you were fast forwarding quickly on your DVR, because I didn't know it was coming.
Or if you had an extra long blink.
Yeah, exactly. But we got a teaser for the teaser trailer of Daredevil.
Yo, dog, I
Not
heard you
the
like
teaser.
teasers.
So I put a teaser for your teaser.
Yeah.
That's frustrating a little bit.
Yeah,
It's really
we've
frustrating.
gotten past this is like imploding point,
Yeah.
but whatever.
I
Let's
don't
talk.
even like teaser trailers. I barely liked regular trailers. now I've got a teaser for a teaser.
Yeah, first we had trailers, which is like the tease of the movie. Then we had teaser trailers, which is like we took a little clip to get you. Then we had Vine trailers, which are giving you 6 seconds of like just a snippet of the trailer.
Yeah.
Now we have these macro trailers that are like, and smaller than that, we have the motion posters, which is
my
like
God,
what we got the
motion
first
posters.
time for Daredevil.
I blame this
Mopo.
generation's short attention span.
I blame.
Well, we can complain all
are
night,
this
but
generation.
let's talk
but
about
Vine.
what we saw
Vine's fun.
in this moment. We basically just saw. I'm assuming it's pre-Daredevil,
Yeah.
because it looked like he was in black.
Yeah. No
and
costume yet.
I just want to make this city a better place,
yeah.
or my city, my city.
Be the hero this
Yeah.
city deserves.
I just want to clean up my kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. And then Gordon Ramsay's the main bad guy. I saw a lot of people calling it like Dread Pirate Roberts.
That's definitely what I was noticing,
Daredevil,
yeah.
Where he's got like kind of like the skull thing. I wonder if it's like like during the show we see him kind of develop the Daredevil persona and like realize that he has to have a better outfit than a bandana.
Yeah, and some armor would, or some, I don't know, padding of some sort.
But he's blind. That's what we see in it too. He's like kind of walking around, but it's dark and no one can see there.
Makes me wonder who they want to cast as Wilson Fisk. I
If they cast Will Smith Fisk?
I don't know,
we'll have
but
to
I
look
mean,
this up.
he and Daredevil. I mean, that's the big rivalry there.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it. More to the full teaser trailer comes out tomorrow.
Which means it's probably on the internet right now.
Yeah, probably. Well, it's midnight in New York. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, we didn't get a chance to get to iTunes this week. I'm so sorry, guys.
I read the comments; they're all great.
I looked at them earlier this week. It's going to be a huge section of them next week. Don't you guys worry. You're going to get so many shout-outs because we love you guys. You guys are the best. Don't forget to keep rating and keep commenting. Jesse Klein, if people want to keep up with you between now and next week, where can they do it?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1.
And you guys can find me at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. I also do the Gotham podcast on Monday nights, the Modern Family podcast on Wednesday nights, and wrestling pay-per-views monthly.
I'm Megan.
Do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, good. It's good to keep busy. I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including Star Wars Rebels and Sailor Moon Crystal.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson. That's ThatzachWilson. And also here at AfterBuzz on a ton of shows. Just did Sleepy Hollow earlier tonight. Helix is back. Better Call Saul starts up this Sunday and Monday with a 2-part premiere. Tune in there to see me in yet another hat. Guys, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.